Hey there, Kingdom Woman. If you've been feeling the holiday loneliness creeping in, this implementation guide is for you. Today, we are creating your standard strength system. Hey there, you deserve more than lowering your standards just because the holiday season is here. If you're ready to create a practical blueprint to protect your standards, even when the holiday season is telling you you should lower them, let's get started. Don't forget to grab your implementation more.
Hey, hey, hey. So let's get started with our key declaration for this week. My standards reflect my value and vision. My standards reflect my value and vision. We are reclaiming our power. We are not giving the power to assess our value or our vision to anyone outside of ourselves. This week's standard focus: maintaining holiday boundaries, strengthening your position, and celebrating your choices. And our focus scripture for this week is Romans 12:2. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So let's talk about some standard steps. First thing that we want to do when we are establishing our standards is to know our non negotiables. We want to know where we are aligned spiritually. We want to make sure that we're assessing our emotional health on a regular basis, and we are positioning our purpose. All right, so that's how we're going to start to establish our standards. So let's build our base. We're going to build our base by our morning declarations, our midday check ins, and our evening celebrations. All of these implementation guides are going to follow the same framework. We're always going to have morning declarations, we're always going to have midday check ins, and we're always going to have our evening celebrations. So, again, if you need to create a reminder in your phone so that you are reminded of what your declaration is for the week. Remember, it is my standards reflect my value and my vision. And actually, leave me a comment down below so that I can join hands and touch and agree with you. Leave me a comment below. My standards reflect my value and my vision. And then our daily implementation, we're going to have our standard review, we're going to have our response practice, and we're going to review potential pause moments. Remember, week one was all about establishing our pause protocol. So we're gonna let's talk about some standard responses, some of the questions that you may, or some of the situation that you may find yourself in this holiday season. So one of the questions that you may be asked is, why are you so picky? Someone may say to you that your standards are too high or that you need to be more open. And let's talk about some responses for you. I got a couple here for you. Um, Let me know down in the comments. How do you respond to those types of questions or comments? So, your response: library. I'm choosing purpose over pressure. Okay? My standards reflect my value in a world that is constantly telling us that we desire too much, that we think too highly of ourselves, that we'll never be able to attain those things that we require. We want to make sure that we are rooted in our position that my standards, nobody else's standards, reflect my value, and I'm positioned for promise. I'm positioned for promise. I'm not moving off of my square. I am positioned for the promise that God gave to me. In your worksheet, you want to write one standard to strengthen, one response to practice, and one celebration to plan. One standard to strengthen, one response to practice, and one celebration to plan. And I want you to let me know in the comments, what's that standard that you think you need to strengthen over this holiday season? What response did any of those responses resonate with you? If not, then what response do you have? What response are you going to practice? And then what celebration are you going to plan? Make sure you're letting me know down in the comments. I want to join hands and touch and agree and celebrate with you. Our key points this week: standards are protection, they are not punishment. Remember, this entire series is about protecting our heart this holiday season. So, your standards are your protection, they're not punishment. Key point two: clarity creates confidence. And then number three, every no makes space for God's yes. And so I want you to make sure that you are using your implementation guide worksheet as linked down in the description box below. Make sure that you are using that so that you can jot down these key points so that you can refer back to them. You don't have to print that out. I made it fillable so that you can use whatever mobile device or on your desktop to type into it. And let's get into this week's strategy. 3 points. Number one, you're going to identify our core standards. Number two, we're going to practice competent responses. We're not going to be stuttering and trying to gather our words. Our responses are going to be practiced and they're going to be confident. And number three, we're going to celebrate our standard victories. Anytime you are faced with a situation where you could lower your standards and you don't, let me know in the comments so that I can celebrate right along with you. And again, remember, we're going to talk about it in the community tab. We're going to keep this conversation going all week long, all about our standards. And if you have a kingdom woman or kingdom man in your community that needs to join in on this conversation, please invite them to the community.
There you have it, your complete system to protect your standards even when the holiday is making you feel like you need to lower them. Remember, your standards aren't seasonal. There you have it, your complete system to protect your standards. Make sure you download your first 3 minutes holiday heart protection workbook in the description below. And if this video helped you, please give me a like and share it with a woman who needs it. Stay protected. Make sure you download your first 3 minutes holiday